Welcome back to Coffee and Conversation. So, for all of my Audie fans, he's asleep on the chair right behind me. He has been in such a weird mood lately. Part of it is we're having a cold snap. Now, it's January, so cold needs to be expected in January, but it's been sort of unusually cold for an unusually long period of time. Around here, we get cold temperatures overnight. In other words, like below 20 degrees. Really only a few days a year. And those few days are not generally one day right after another. That's what we've been having. So Audie is in hibernation mode. Also, for those of you who watch the Just Chattin' videos, you will know that I had an accident. I didn't mean to do it. I know how much my cat hates Meghan Markle's voice. So whenever I play any videos or whatever, and she's going to be speaking, I put in earbuds. But I screwed up and accidentally pulled out the earbuds, and he caught her laughing, which is something he hates even more than catching her talking. So he's been very irritable. He ran up and hid on top of the refrigerator, and I got him down, and now whenever I sit down to the computer, I assume he thinks, oh, I'm going to be listening to that again, and he hops back up on top of the refrigerator or dancing around on the countertops. So I've had my hands full with him. The fact is, he's asleep now. I'm really happy about this. So, moving on. Yellow, and there is yellow in this scarf. It's mostly maroon. I don't usually wear it with a maroon shirt, but I am today because I was hoping it would make the yellow stand out a little more, and I don't know if it has. Salvatore Ferragamo, by the way, $55, absolute steal, because you know I will not pay full retail for anything. My mother would roll in her grave if she thought I was. All right, we are going to be back 22 seconds after the intro and get started. Okay, my bad. At the beginning of the video, I was like, oh, yellow, yellow. I was so pleased that I had found the yellow that I forgot to tell you what it's for. The yellow is for Catherine, for Lex's mom, for everybody who has had cancer touch their lives. Wishing you all the very, very best. And please don't think that I've forgotten about you just because I've distracted myself, because trust me, I could distract myself from anything. It doesn't mean that I think whatever the distraction was is more important than you are. So, my bad. Here's your yellow. We are thinking of you. And this is sort of my reminder. Okay. Yellow, maroon. Don't usually wear this with a maroon shirt. But there was a reason I wanted to wear not just any maroon shirt, but this one in particular. This is a men's Henley, and it's wool. And because I'm going to shamelessly mock the company I got it from, I'm not going to identify them. But I don't know, if I ever decide I'm going to forgive them for their craziness, I will mention them, because I really do like their products. I like them enough so that I will buy them from Amazon, which is not my go-to shopping site, just to avoid having to deal directly with the company. So let me tell you about the company. And as I say, I'm not going to mention them because this is not kind. So, yeah, grab your coffee or your tea or your whatever because, yes, I'm going to dish the dirt. This is a company that makes 100% merino wool clothing. And this is from the men's department. And that is, by the way, the subject of the video, and I will get into that as I ramble my way along this circuitous path. Good quality products, good prices, very, very eccentric company. No freaking idea what they are doing. So I've ordered about 5 or 6 items, I would say, directly from this particular manufacturer. They have their own website. And the first order I placed, they could only fill half of it. So I get half my stuff, and then I get an email from them saying, well, we can't provide you with the other half. And I'm thinking to myself, well, then why was it on your website? Because the fact is, I have programmed websites. I know how this works. And it's a very simple matter. If you stay on top of your inventory, every time you make a sale, you can actually program that into the system. You don't have to add it separately. You know, one yellow shirt sold, and it immediately deducts it from the inventory because the computer program has the item number, the color, the size, all that information. They see it and they pull it off the inventory. You don't have to think about this. The program does it for you. So I'm assuming not in their case, because what I did when I found out I was only getting half my order was I said, fine, send me the one item you do have, and I'll just take a refund on the other item. Well, I did end up going back at a later date, and I ordered a t-shirt, which, by the way, also was a men's piece. I got my first shirt with a pair of men's socks in gray. And if you've been following along, especially on the weekend videos, you will know I don't wear gray. I do not wear gray. I know loads and loads and loads of people just love gray to death. Me, I do not. I think the color makes me look washed out, and it probably wouldn't matter even if it didn't make me look washed out. I just don't like it. And we've talked about this before. Everybody has their own favorite neutrals. Most people default to black, white, and gray. I do not. Given my choice, I will go to various ranges in browns and olives first, and then navy is my black substitute. I have some black in my wardrobe, but nowhere near as much as most people do. And the only white I have in my wardrobe is like this. It's undergarments. I don't wear white as an outerwear piece, unless it's the dead of summer and I'm wearing a white tank top. That's about it. But so I'm not crazy about gray. So I get this pair of men's gray socks, large. Because quite frankly, if it were medium even men's socks, I could probably wear them, but large, no. So I'm thinking to myself, what am I going to do with these? I set them aside. I get the t-shirt, more gray socks. This is like yet another pair. I didn't order them. I didn't pay for them. I wrote to the company. It's like, you're sending me socks by mistake. Can I send them back to you? No, they're a free gift. Like, well, thanks, but, you know, if I knew it was that easy to get rid of stuff you don't want, I would have half the stuff in my living room right now, because I am cleaning kind of sort of, and I've got all the things that need to be relocated all in the living room, I would just start taping those boxes shut, slapping addresses on them, and sticking them out for the mail carrier to let somebody else deal with the stuff I don't want. I think it's a brilliant plan, but nobody's going to actually let me do this. So after this first order, I think, well, I got a couple of women's tank tops from Amazon because the first business about canceling out half of my order was a little, didn't sit too well with me. Order a couple of tank tops, they come in, no socks, which is a good thing. And I thought, yeah, I'll go back to the company, we'll give them another try. Placed another order. And this time I placed an order for 3 items. And I got one of them. Oh, and I did get socks with these, but they actually said when I was buying one of the women's shirts, we're going to send you free socks. Here, wouldn't you like to pick out the color? It's like, well, first of all, if it's women's socks, they'll fit me. And second, if you're going to let me pick out the color, well, heck yeah, because it's not like I don't love wool socks. And I know I have too many of them already, and I get that. But it was free wool socks. So, yeah, come on. So, as I say, I order 3 items, I get 1 with the socks. Because, if they're going to forget anything, it's not going to be the socks. The other 2 items, no. After about 2 weeks, I write to the company. It's like, what happened to the rest of my order? And they told me the order was lost in transit. And I said, fine. I have the shipping depot very nearby my home, and I do, in fact. Just send me the tracking number, and I'll call them and see if it's there. Well, they wouldn't send me the tracking number. I asked them repeatedly. And eventually I just went back and said, look, what are we going to do about this? And they said, well, we can send you 1 item we have in stock and the other one we don't. Okay, now I see why they didn't ship it out in the first place, because they didn't have everything I ordered, and Lord only knows what they were hoping was going to happen to change things, and why they thought it was going to happen in the span of 2 weeks. Regardless, so I got another shirt, this one, as a matter of fact, another pair of socks, okay, and the other shirt I wanted did not get. It's like, okay, send me my money back. At this point, I basically decided I can't deal with the company because they are not properly tracking their inventory. What's going to happen is they are going to take my money, promise me something. If they don't feel like mailing it out, they'll wait 2 weeks until I write to them and say, where's my stuff? And then lie to me about where it is. And, I still have to do without at least some of what I've ordered. So that's why I decided I'm not doing business with this company. If they keep up at this rate, they will not be in business much longer. It's too bad, because I really like their stuff. It's good quality wool, and I like it. The socks thing is starting to resemble a Monty Python skit. You remember spam, 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 eggs and spam? Well, this is socks, 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 a shirt and socks. I don't want men's gray socks. If they offered me men's socks in some other color, yeah, sure, I'm open to it. If they, no, I was going to say if they offered me gray socks in women's sizes, no. I don't wear gray socks. I don't have gray in my wardrobe. I'm not sure if I have anything at all in my wardrobe that is gray. So, no value to me. So, how does this all lead us here? Men's clothing. Now, I happen to love men's Henleys. I'm happy with women's Henleys, but they're very hard to find. For those of you who don't know, a Henley is a shirt with a crew neck collar that split a few inches down the front with a couple of buttons. I like it because I can adjust it. I can open it, close it, whatever. It just happens to be a style that I find very comfortable because I don't like things. And you're going to notice I'm doing this because you notice the undershirt is right up against my throat. I don't like that. So I like Henleys. Absolutely. And the reason I was going to talk to you about men's clothing is because, first of all, if you can buy clothing that you would ordinarily get, like unisex styles, in women's sizes, consider going over to men's instead. They're better made. Usually you will get a longer length in the body. For some of you, that might be a problem. I'm long-waisted. For me, that's actually a benefit. Also, I have massive shoulders, so men's sizes actually tend to fit me better than women's sizes. And again, well, the girls are just barely there. I'm not one of those women where, you see the tatas walk into the room 20 minutes before I get there. I got friends like that. I don't envy them. They all have back pain. But it's not an issue for me. I don't need the darting. So it works out very well. And there are a lot of body types that benefit from this. As I say, if you're smaller chested, broader shoulders, a longer waist, men's sizes are going to fit you a lot better than women's sizes. They are more durably made. It's just the way it is. People think that men are more hard-wearing on their clothing, so you will get stronger seams. You'll often get stronger fabrics. Things like the length of the shirt. The lengths are always more generous. The lengths of the sleeves. Let me see if I can. Well, this is wool, so it will stretch. So I'm just going to try to see how far down it goes naturally. That's pretty decent. Now, keep in mind, as I say, it's wool, so there's stretch in it. But yes, longer sleeve lengths. And that's not even an issue of if your body is built differently. If, for example, your arms are a little longer than standard. No, most women prefer a sleeve that's cut a little over the wrist. That's just a style that women tend to like better. And the biggest thing is they're cheaper. They're absolutely cheaper. The same company selling the same item is going to charge you probably a good 10% more for a woman's style over a man's style. I started doing this years ago with socks. I wanted heavier weight socks, and I started buying men's socks. Women's socks are delicate and fragile, and they're lightweight and thin and cottony and whatever. Men's socks are built to go into work boots, and that's what I was looking for. And I found that a good heavy-duty pair of men's work socks were usually less expensive than a pair of flimsy little lacy ruffly women's socks that don't keep your feet warm. So I was an easy sell at that point. And the truth is, most of this goes back to my childhood, when my brother's clothing was much heavier duty than mine. And I would have a pair of slacks to play in as a child that would be nowhere near as rugged and durable as my brother's corduroys or khakis or blue jeans. So I wanted to throw that out. It is a way that you can get much more durable clothing at better prices, but if you happen to like certain styles, for me, it's Henleys. They are much easier to find in men's clothing. So let me give you some real concrete examples. I'm not going to talk about this company. I just got through bad-mouthing them, so I'm not going to go there. I will allow them to remain anonymous, at least for the moment. I went on Amazon not too long ago because I was looking for a silk t-shirt. I actually wanted a nice mulberry silk t-shirt. And I looked through all of the women's styles. And all of them, of course, let me start with most of these items come directly from Asia. As a result, do not expect that they're going to be cut for the standard American body. This is a population that is much shorter than we are. And that, I'm not saying this as an insult or anything, it's the facts. And because they are shorter waisted too. So for me, that's a nightmare. For the average woman in the U.S. is about 5'3" to 5'4". I just found that out recently. Yeah, we're pretty gosh darn short as women. And if at 5'6", I am long-waisted, and at 5'3", a person who is neither short nor long-waisted is getting an item from China where the waistline is just cutting in right under her rib cage, imagine how bad it's going to be for me. It's going to be like an empire waist, except I don't have the tatas to fill out the top. So, nightmare. And it's going to look like complete trash on me anyway. So when I started looking at the women's sizes and realized they were not going to fit me properly, I just went over to the men's sizes and said, look, maybe I didn't start off looking for a t-shirt, but would a t-shirt do? Would it meet my needs? Would I be happy with it? Yes. So that's when I started looking at men's t-shirts. Now, I was able to get 100% mulberry silk men's t-shirts with the kind of necklines I like, which is a V-neck. Couldn't find any Henleys. But, and I don't think they make them in silk, by the way. I don't think that was just my lack of diligence in hunting. I just don't think they're available. But I could get the V-necks I like. I could get the wider shoulders, the wider arms as well. I could get something that was long enough to come down over my waist, and I was getting them. The ones that I got were about $25, which, by the way, 100% silk a t-shirt, you got to know that's a good price. The women's shirts in silk on Amazon were starting at $10 higher and just going up from there. Just saying. So I really start with the men's clothing now, especially if it's something I'm looking for that is what I would call a unisex piece of clothing. Now, we all have a lot of unisex items in our wardrobe. There's going to be somebody out there who's going to say, no, if it doesn't have lace or ruffles, it's not in my closet. So, that little girly woman aside, most of us do have a lot of unisex pieces. With clothing getting more casual, we're wearing more things like t-shirts, like pullover sweaters, jumpers for my UK friends. A jumper means something very different here. For my UK friends, I think you call them pinafores. A jumper is a sleeveless dress that is made to have a blouse underneath it. It's usually cut a little low and, a little skimpy under the arms to go without a blouse. Over here, that is a jumper. So, and I know over there a jumper is a pullover sweater. Two countries separated by the same language, what can I say? Oh, and I'm not leaving my Aussie friends out. I am still trying to work out that whole matinee jacket thing, and I have no idea how what we consider to be a bed jacket for an adult woman translates into some sort of little layette item for a baby. Can't work that out. All right, so off that, although I have to admit I do find it entertaining that we can't even talk about clothing with the same vocabulary. But jumpers, pullover, sweaters, everybody has a few of them in their closet. I know you could go into my sweater box, and most of my sweaters, not all, but most, all right, honey, you could hand them off to a man, and he could wear them and look perfectly normal in them. All right, what'd you knock over? All right, come here. I know. Let me get you up here so you can stay here, and I don't have to worry about where you're going. All right, we do have Audie. Audie is still half asleep, and I think I woke him up by talking because he's hanging here like a dead sponge. We all have a lot of unisex items. I mentioned socks earlier. You can get men's socks or women's socks. If you are a woman with large feet, and I know we have a few of you out there because you've mentioned that in the comments, women with feet larger than a size 10 should probably really be going over to men's socks because I am, by the way, I'm a size 10, and I know that I am very much at the end of the sizing for standard women's socks, but I'm right in the middle for men's socks. So if you are a size 11, a size 12, men's medium socks are going to be your best friend. So I would not even bother with women's socks. A sock is a sock is a sock. Nobody's ever going to know the difference. I've been wearing men's socks for years, and no one has ever stopped me and said, oh, look, those are men's socks. Nobody ever even notices. Undershirts. Wife beaters, tank tops, that sort of singlets, got that for the Australians. T-shirts like that, you can buy them in the men's department or the women's department. Usually they have so much stretch in the fabric, it doesn't matter that they don't have darts in the front. So whenever you're looking for something like this, my advice is start with the men's department. There are so many options available for you. Ordinarily, you're going to find a broader selection of colors. They're not necessarily going to be the same colors, but if you happen to like darker colors and neutrals, you're all set. They're not going to have the florals, or, well, sometimes they are. They're not going to have the florals, and they're probably not going to have a lot of the weirder prints, things like that. But you really can stuff your closet just by shopping in the men's department. Easy as pie. But, like I say, you're not really going to realize how valuable it is until you start doing it. And when you start doing it and you see the savings and you see the life expectancy of your garments and you see the options you have if you have, well, the shoulders, the long waist, the flat chest, etc., you are going to see a better fit. Because the fact of the matter is, I'm never going to have a Marilyn Monroe body. Doesn't matter what I do, it's just not going to happen. And, well, yes, I would need to take back those socks and cram them into a bra in order to get that body, which I'm not going to do, because I'm still irritated about too many socks. If you have the right kind of body, it's going to be your best choice. In my case, it's really my only choice because, like I say, I like Henleys. I like a certain style of shirt that is traditionally considered a men's shirt. Um, and I can get these in women's styles just, it's like hen's teeth. It really is. Maybe I'll find one, maybe I won't. You know, is it like the fifth Thursday in September or, February on a leap year? Maybe it'll turn up. It's not something I can find anywhere. And I drive myself crazy looking for it. See, that's the other thing. I waste so much time looking for the things I want because I've been looking in the women's departments. I don't know why I bother. Well, yes, I do, because I want what I want. And all I really needed to do, and I could have saved myself a lot of grief if I had begun doing this 1,000 years ago, but no, I've come to this fairly recently, and I've been doing it long enough so that I can absolutely tell you that it's worth your while. So this is sort of my pitch for stop buying women's clothing. Really, stop buying women's clothing. This is a very pretty maroon slash burgundy slash, I don't know, Merlot wine. I don't know what color this would reasonably be called. Everybody has a different name for this. I am just going to say maroon because that's what it looks like to me. You can get some very nice colors. The company that I'm not going to mention their name has the same thing in light blues as well as black, gray, 2 shades of gray, or maybe one of them is a shade of black. But black and gray, there are 3 separate shades of the black-gray range, in addition to the burgundy or maroon or whatever this is that I actually like, a very nice olive color, and I think 2 different ranges of blue. Now, the truth is, that looks very limiting if you're used to buying from the women's department and you have a wide range of color choices. However, there are very few individual items I have ever come across shopping for women's clothing that are available in more than maybe 4 or 5 colors to begin with. And sure, if you want pink and you don't want it in that particular style, you'll find it in another. But if you've got your heart set on a certain style and you're determined to get it in a certain color, even looking in the women's department, odds are you're going to be disappointed. So that is what I wanted to share with you, just throwing it out there. Consider men's clothing because it works. It absolutely works for me. I know there are many of you it will work for. I imagine there are many of you that it won't work for. There are going to be those of you with that Marilyn Monroe body that is just not going to fit into men's clothing no matter what. There are many of you, I'm sure, who are short. And if you are short and you're putting on a man's shirt, it's going to fit you like a dress. I get that. On the other hand, there are plenty of you who do have the same or similar considerations that I deal with. And maybe it's not, oh, we all have broad shoulders, we all have flat chests, we all have long waists. No, but maybe you do have a long waist. Maybe you do have wide shoulders. Maybe you do have a smaller bust. You could easily find this works. Also, you might find that the cost savings as well as the greater durability are going to justify taking a chance. Get a t-shirt. After all, t-shirts are completely unisex. A man's t-shirt is a woman's t-shirt, is just an oversized kid's t-shirt. And that's where I would start. Same thing with socks. One sock is the same as the next. The only difference is the size. So, I wanted to share that with you. We are going to take a look at a slideshow on the way out. As you noticed, Audie did come out and pay a little bit of attention to us, mostly because, like I say, he's been hibernating. I don't think he's very happy with the weather. He's not happy with me and that whole, Meghan Markle laugh. And I'm hoping he forgives me. But we'll see how this works out. All right. We are going to take a look at a slideshow on the way out. I hope to see you back here tomorrow. And in the meanwhile, check out the men's clothing section and have a terrific day.